Good morning, greatest learners, and welcome back to our English class today. Before we start our lesson for today, let us have first our pre-assessment activity. Okay, so this is your task. So I want you to thumbs up if you think the statement is correct, or thumbs down if you think the statement is wrong. Okay, so are you ready now? So let's start. First statement is this. The past tense is used to tell completed past actions. Thumbs up or thumbs down? That's correct. The answer is thumbs up. Number two, the helping verbs will or shall is used for past tense verbs. Thumbs up or thumbs down? And you are correct. So the answer is thumbs down. Next, the present participle form of the verb is used in composing sentences using past tense. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay, that's correct. So, thumbs down. Number four, yesterday and last week are some of the useful common expressions that can be used in past tense. Thumbs up or thumbs down? You are right. The answer is thumbs up. Next, the letters ED or D is used to form the past tense verbs. Thumbs up or thumbs down? You got it correctly. The answer is thumbs up. Okay, so thank you very much for participating actively in our task today. Now, I want you to read these sentences with me and tell me, what can you notice about these sentences? Okay, so let's start reading these sentences aloud. Our relatives go to Puerto Galera last summer. My brother played basketball last weekend. Sheila cried a lot when she was a little girl. Mr. Reyes wanted to see you yesterday. The game ended at 5:30 p.m. Now tell me, what can you notice about these sentences? Okay, that's correct. So these expressed past actions. So let's continue. At the end of our lesson for today, you are expected to compose a clear and coherent sentences using grammatical structure. But for today, our focus will be on the past tense form of the verb. And this is our lesson for today. Composing clear and coherent sentences using past tense form of the verb. I am teacher Clifford Lagar from Lucena North 2 Elementary School. Before we begin our lesson for today, let us have first our self-reflection. I want you to choose among these emoticons that could represent your feelings or your ideas about the lesson for today. You can choose the like emoticon if you like it, or the heart emoticon if you love and enjoy the lesson. You can choose the laughing face if you think that you will do good today, or the blushing face if you are okay, or the shocked or surprised face if you will be needing further explanation, or the sad face or teary-eyed face if you will be needing extra help, or this furious face if you still don't get the lesson today. So thank you very much for your answers. Now, let's move on with our lesson for today, past tense. So past tense is one of the three simple tenses, and it is used to express completed past actions or any actions that happened in the past. Now, read this question. Which principal part of the verb is used in composing past tense sentences? So let's study the table below. So we have the simple or the base form of the verb, we have the past form of the verb, we have the present participle form of the verb, and we have the past participle form of the verb. So among these parts of the verb, which is used in past tense? Very good. So we use the past form of the verb in past tense sentences. So these are just examples. Walked, ate, and you will encounter many examples later on. Well, there are two things that you have to remember in writing the past form of the verbs using past tense. Number one, for regular verbs, just add ed or d at the end of the base form of the verbs. Example, walk. Walk is the example of irregular verb. And the past form, or we write the past form of the verb walk by adding ed, walked. So can you think other examples aside from walked? All right. And the second is for irregular verbs. So there is a change in spelling when we write the past forms of the verbs. Examples, eat, ate, say, said. So you have to consult your books for the list of irregular verbs and memorize the past form of these verbs. Okay, so let's move on. Now, can you tell the past forms of these verbs? Okay, so I want you to read aloud the verbs and their past forms. Okay, are you ready now? Let's start. Forget, forgot, speak, spoke, cook, cooked, break, broke, catch, caught, buy, bought, love, loved, attend, attended, play, played, talk, talked, dream, dreamed, tell, told, take, took, wait, waited, clean, cleaned, bring, brought, send, sent, go, went, and last, prepare, prepared. So these are the past forms of those verbs. Now, let us try to use this in our sentences. Number one, I went to Puerto Galera last summer. So the verb used in this sentence is went, and the correct past form of the verb go. We use went because the action happened in the past. Specifically, the action happened last summer. Number two, Alan graduated with honors last year. So the verb is graduated and the past form of graduated. Number three, the graduating grade 6 class held a party last Saturday. So the verb is held and the correct past form of the verb hold to mean that the action took place in the past. And it happened last Saturday. Number four, the teacher submitted the grades to the principal 2 days ago. The verb here is submitted and the correct past form of the verb submit. Number five, the teachers announced the winners of Nutrition Month celebration yesterday. So the verb is announced. And the action happened in the past, specifically happened yesterday. Now, these are some of the common expressions that we can use in composing sentences using past tense. A while ago, yesterday, last week, last month, the other day, last year, last 3 weeks ago, or 2 years ago, and many more expressions that you can use. Let's go back to our sentences. And this time, tell me the common expressions that we use in each sentence. Okay, number one, I went to Puerto Galera last summer. Very good, last summer. Number two, Alan graduated with honors last year. And that's correct, last year. Number three, the graduating grade 6 class held a party last Saturday. You're correct, last Saturday. Number four, the teacher submitted the grades to the principal 2 days ago. That's correct, 2 days ago. And last, number five, the teachers announced the winners of Nutrition Month celebration yesterday. And that's correct, yesterday. Let's compose sentences using these given verbs. Bought, told, caught, sent. So let's use the first verb, bought. We bought colored papers at Lucky Bookstore last week. We use the past form of buy, that is bought, because the action happened in the past, last week. Number two, told. Our teacher told us to study our lessons in science yesterday. So the verb is told, and it is in its past form because the action took place yesterday. Number three, caught. Our cat caught a mouse last night. So the verb here is caught and the correct past form of catch because the action happened in the past, last night. And last, sent. Susan sent a text message to her parents 2 hours ago. So the verb here is sent because the action took place 2 hours ago. Very good, grade 6. Very good. For our next learning task, let us try to complete the sentences by changing the verbs inside the parentheses into their correct past form. Okay, so let's start with number one. Kate wore a red costume in Ed Sheeran's concert last month. So what is the correct past form of the verb wear? That's correct, wore. Number two, the learners listened attentively during the lesson yesterday. So what is the correct past form of the verb listen? Very good, listened. The learners listened attentively during the lesson yesterday. Number three, Chris joined me to James's birthday party last Friday. So what is the correct form of the verb join? Very good, joined. Chris joined me to James's birthday party last Friday. Number four, Mr. Ruiz took his children to the carnival last week. So the past form of take is took. Very good. So Mr. Ruiz took his children to the carnival last week. Number five, they like the food. So the past tense of like is liked. Very good. Congratulations, grade 6 learners, for doing a good job in our activity. Now, let's compose sentences using these given verbs. But you can only choose 5 among these past form verbs. Cleaned, forgot, cooked, talked, prepared, played, broke, waited, attended, ate. Okay, so choose only 5 verbs and then compose the sentences and send your sentences in our messenger group. Okay, so your time starts now. Now, let's check your learning progress. Again, I want you to choose an emoticon that could best represent your performance in our previous activities and discussion. Okay? So you can choose the like if you like the lesson so far, or the heart if you are doing really great, or the laughing face if you're doing really good, or the blushing face if you're doing okay with our lesson, or the shocked or surprised face if you need more explanation, or the teary-eyed face if you need extra help about understanding the lesson, or this furious face if you don't still get our lesson and you need more examples to understand better the use of past tense or how to compose sentences using past tense. Okay, so thank you very much, Grace's learners, for your answers. Now let's move on with our next task. For our independent practice, I want you to compose clear and coherent five-sentence paragraph using past tense by choosing topics from the lessons that we discussed in the previous weeks or in the previous quarters. You can choose whether lessons in science, araling panlipunan, TLE, it's up to you. Okay, so choose from the following verbs here. So, all right, let us try to read first these verbs aloud. So, read with me. Studied, read, sketched, collaborated, made, practiced, completed, cooperated, answered, learned, did, drew, explained, received, presented, wrote, analyzed, discussed, conducted, finished, performed, won, understood, helped, solved. Okay, so these are the verbs that you can use in composing your paragraph using past tense. So let's take a look on an example of five-sentence paragraph using past tense from Araling Panlipunan subject. Okay, so look at the example. We studied about Kilusang propaganda in Araling Panlipunan last week. I learned that the Kilusang propaganda wanted reforms for the oppressed Filipinos. After the discussion, our group worked together and completed an output. Our leader presented and reported our output in front of our classmates. We answered all the questions correctly. So this is an example of a five-sentence paragraph using past tense. And the topic is taken from Araling Panlipunan. Now it's your turn to compose the sentences using our lessons from previous weeks or previous quarters that you might like writing. Okay? So write your answers in our worksheets for this week. So your time starts now. For our simulation, let us try to answer some of these important questions about the lesson for today. Okay, let's begin with the first question. So which part of the verb can we use in composing sentences using past tense? Very good. So we use only the past form of the verb in composing sentences using past tense. Correct. Number two, when do we use the past tense? Very well, that's correct. So we use the past tense to express a completed past actions. And last, number three, what are some common expressions that we can use in composing sentences using past tense? Very good. So we have many useful and common expressions that we use commonly in past tense sentences. And we have 2 hours ago, last week, last summer, last month, last year, yesterday, and so on. So congratulations for answering these questions correctly. It shows that you learned the lesson very well. For our assessment, I want you to compose a clear and coherent sentences using past tense. So choose the topics that you like composing or writing. Remember, you have to write your answers in our worksheets for this week. Okay, so enjoy doing the activity, have fun writing, and congratulations for a good job for today's lesson. Congratulations again, greatest learners. You did well. For the very last time, let us check your learning progress. Again, I want you to choose an emoticon that could describe your performance in learning our lesson, the past tense, and doing our learning tasks from the very first to the very last activity. Okay, so you can choose the like button if you like it, or the heart if you did great, or the laughing face if you did good, or the blushing face if you did just okay, or the shocked or surprised face if you needed more explanation and more time with me as your teacher so you can learn better the lesson, or the teary-eyed face if you needed extra help, or this furious face is if everything is not clear to you. So send your answers privately via Messenger, and I will be waiting for your answers. So thank you very much, grade 6 learners. You did very good in our lesson for today, and see you again next time.